திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். புழியர்கோன் வெப்பொழித்த புகழியர்கோன் கடல் போற்றி. ஆழிமிசை கல்மிதப்பில் அணைந்த பிரான் அடி போற்றி. வாழி திருநாவலூர் வன்றொண்டர் பதம் போற்றி. ஊழிமலி திருவாத ஊரர் திருத்தாள் போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். So today we are going to be discussing Sundarar Thevaram, Padigam 7.24, ponnār mēniyanē. So before we start, just some of you know and some of you may not know, yesterday was Sundarar's Guru Puja day. As I mentioned earlier, Guru Puja is celebrated on the day, final day of the saints of Nayanmars. In other tradition, like Vaishnava tradition and other traditions, they celebrate the birthday. Whereas in the Saiva tradition, the day of Mukti or the final day on earth is celebrated as the Guru Puja day. And so yesterday was in Tamil calendar, Tamil months are what you can call as solar calendar. So they go when the zodiac changes from sun moves from one zodiac to another. That's how they do the month. And so in the month of Adi, when the nakshatram Swati comes, that is the day that is celebrated as the Guru Puja day of Sundarar. That's when he left this world to go to Kailasam. So yesterday was the day, and we, so today it's nice that we are looking at one of his padigams. So this padigam was sung in a place called the Tirumaḻabāḍi, which is on the banks of Kollidam river. As some of you may know, the Kaveri river that starts in the western Ghats in Karnataka, flows through Karnataka and then moves into the Tamil-speaking region and flows through Tamil-speaking region and reaches the sea on the east coast. So when it comes through the delta, near Tiruchirappalli, it splits into two. One part is called Kaveri, other part is called Kollidam. And then it splits into further branches, and then many small branches reach the sea. So Kollidam is a major river, and Tirumaḻabāḍi is on the banks of Kollidam river, on the northern bank. So Sundarar, when he was on one of his temple tours, he comes to a place called the Thiruvayyaru. Thiruvayyaru is a major kshetram, very large Shiva temple, and today most people will know only about Tanjavur, right? Because Rajaraja Chola built a great temple in Tanjavur, Brihadiswara temple, and everybody will know about that temple because it's a great monument and all that. So people know about that. But that temple was built about 1,000 years ago, and that's a new temple built by Rajaraja Chola, Tanjavur temple. But Thiruvayyaru temple is much older, and so Sambandar, Tirunavukkarasar, Sundarar, everybody has sung Thiruvayyaru temple, but because there was no Tanjavur temple at the time. So Thiruvayyaru is a great kshetram, and when Sundarar came on one of his tours and visited Thiruvayyaru, he stayed there for some time. And surrounding Thiruvayyaru, which is on the banks of Kaveri river, there are many other temples. So he visited several of those temples, and about 7 or 8 kilometers from Thiruvayyaru is a place called Thiru-Ālambuzhi, which is a village today. So, but there is a nice temple there, and Sundarar came to that temple and worshipped Shiva there. And as they were going everywhere, they will walk from place to place and stay in one place for a few days, and then go to the next place and all that, right? So that's how they were doing the tours, the temple tours. So that evening in Thiru-Ālambuzhi, after having worshipped Shiva in the temple, he retires for the night, and he was sleeping. And in his sleep, a dream comes. Shiva comes in his dream and asks Sundarar, "Hey Sundara, what happened? You forgot to think about coming to Tirumaľabāḍi?" And then Sundara immediately wakes up from his dream in the middle of the night and marvels at the fact that Shiva came in his dream and asked him to come to Tirumaļabāḍi. Because Sundara was going along the banks of Kaveri river, right? So in those days there are no bridges. So you walk, and if you have to cross the river, you have to take the boat and all that. So people typically keep walking along one river bank, and they keep going all the way and then come back by the other bank and all that. But from Tiruālambuzhil, Tirumaļabāḍi, if you were to look at the map, as a crow flies, it is like maybe 4 kilometers or 5 kilometers. But between Tiruālambuzhil and Tirumaļabāḍi, you have to cross Kaveri river, and then you have to cross the Kolladam river too. So you have to cross both rivers, and Tirumaļabāḍi is on the other bank of Kolladam river. So probably Sundara was not planning to go to Tirumaļabāḍi at that time. He was probably thinking that after this I will keep continuing walking along the same side of the river bank I am on, and I will go to other temples and go to Tiruchirappalli and other things, other places. But Shiva comes in his dream and says, "Hey, you forgot to think about coming to Maļabāḍi?" So Sundara wakes up, and then he feels that now he must change his plans and go to Tirumaļabāḍi. So next morning, first thing he does is he gets up and crosses the Kaveri river, walks for some more distance, and then crosses the Kolladam river, and on the other side of the Kolladam river is Tirumaļabāḍi temple. So he goes to the Tirumaļabāḍi temple and then sings this padigam. This padigam, in this, the message or the refrain that he has got, "Unnayalal ini yārai ninaikkaene." Who will I think of except you, O Swami of Tirumaļabāḍi? That is the refrain that comes in every song in this padigam. So this is a very famous padigam, very popular padigam. A lot of people know at least the first song. The other songs they may not know, but many people will know the first song. A very popular song. So with that background, so you have an idea now where Tirumaļabāḍi is. It's about Tiruālambuzhil is about 10-12 kilometers from Tanjavur, and Tirumaļabāḍi is about 4 kilometers or so north as crow flies from Tirumaļabāḍi. By road, you have to go by bridges across the rivers, so that may be a longer route. But as a crow flies, it's about 4 or 5 kilometers from Tiruālambuzhil, north of that. And Tirumaļabāḍi is a nice, it's a village, rural area. So it's a nice place. The temple is just on the bank of the river. On the bank you have the Kolladam river, and then there's a road that goes along the bank, and on the other side of the road is the temple. Very nice temple. And the Sthala Vriksham in Tirumaļabāḍi is palm tree. In India we have the coconut palm, and that we call as coconut tree, and the other palm we call just pāmiṛa or palm tree. So that palm tree is fairly common in the southern India, in the Tamil-speaking region and in the Telugu-speaking region, which is, the palm tree is very common. And in fact, in those days, the palm leaf, that frond was the one that was used as a writing material in South. Instead of paper, which wasn't there in those days, so they will always prepare the palm leaf, and then they will have a stylus. With that, they will engrave the letters on the palm leaf. That's how they were writing in those days. So palm trees were cherished and everywhere. So in this Sthalam, Tirumaļabāḍi, palm tree is the Sthala Vriksham. As you know, every temple will have a Sthala Vriksham, especially the older temples. And typically that Sthala Vriksham, the temple tree, will be the most common tree or prevalent, which is commonly flourishing in that region of that place, right? So in some place it could be the banana tree, in some place it could be the banyan tree, in some place it could be the mango tree. Like Kanchipuram, mango tree is the Sthala Vriksham. Like that, in some place it will be the Vilvam tree, in some place it will be the koṇḍrai tree or punnai tree. There are different kinds of trees. So here the palm tree is the Sthala Vriksham. So with that general background of the padigam and the place, now we will go into the padigam verses. So, Pavani, you can repeat the first verse with me.
Yes,
ponnār mēniyanē,
ponnār mēniyanē,
pulit-tōlai,
pulit-tōlai, araikku asaittu,
mİnār señjaḍaimēl,
señjaḍaimēl,
miḷir koṇḍrai,
அணிந்தவனே,
மன்னே மா-maṇiyē,
mā-maṇiyē,
மழபாடியுள்
மாணிக்கமே,
அன்னே உன்னையல்லால் இனி ஆரை நினைக்கேனே. Good. So in this song is the first two lines is describing Shiva's attributes. What he is wearing, what his gunams and all that, right? His attributes is describing. And in the third line he says, "O Shiva dwelling in tirumaḻabāḍi." And in the fourth line he says, "O Shiva, who will I think of except you?" So that is the pattern of this padigam. In many sambandhar padigams, many sundarar padigams, you will find this kind of approach where they will have a theme and that theme will be emphasized in the refrain of every song on the padigam. And in the first part there will be description of Shiva. So it could be first two lines will be describing Shiva, and the third line, fourth line could be describing the place or describing something about the place, and then saying, I'm worshipping you, or I will please bestow your grace on me, whatever is the theme of the padigam. So in this padigam, because Shiva comes in Sundara's dream and asks him, "Hey Sundara, you forgot to think about coming to tirumaḻabāḍi?" And because he asked him, he says, "O Shiva of tirumaḻabāḍi, how can I ever forget? I will always think of you. Who else will I think of except you?" That's how he's singing. So in the first song, in the first line, first phrase, ponnār mēniyanē. Meni is body. In common Tamil we say udambu, but in literary Tamil, udal will come, udambu will come, but also the word meni will come. Meni is body. Pon is gold. Ār means, it has many meanings. Here in the context, ār means like. So, ponnār mēniyanē means, O Lord, who has a body like gold. Means Shiva has a golden body. I have talked about this in other padigam discussions too. Shiva's color in the form in which he appears is usually bright color, golden color, reddish color. That's how he is described. So ponnār mēniyanē means, O Shiva, who is like a golden red, golden color. So that is his complexion of his body. Ponnār mēniyanē, gold-like body. And then he is wearing a tiger skin around his waist. pulit-tōlai araikku asaittu. Puli is tiger, tōl is skin. So pulit-tōlai is a tiger skin. Araikku asaittu. Arai is waist. In Tamil, two different words are used for waist. For a woman's waist, they use the word idai. For a man's waist, they use the word arai. So, Shiva is wearing the tiger skin around his waist. pulit-tōlai araikku. Asaittu. Asaittu means to tie or to wear. So asai in Tamil has several meanings. In common spoken language, the word asai means to shake or to sway, that kind of a meaning. But here asai means to tie around, to wear. So Shiva has tied a tiger skin around his waist. Pulit-tōlai, araikku, asaittu. That is one description. Another description is wearing koṇḍrai flower on his matted locks. That's what is described in the second line. mEniyanē señjaḍaimēl miḻir koṇḍrai aṇindavane. So sadai is a Tamil form of jata. Señjaḍai is golden brown matted locks. Shiva's matted locks, they are not dark hair. They are, what we can call as a golden brown color. So is described as señjaḍai. Some is red, so reddish matted locks. That's how it is described. Señjaḍai. And the reddish matted locks, they are shiny, right? They are not dull in color. They are highly shiny matted locks. So mİn-ār señjaḍai. Min is minnal. Min is minnal. Minnal means lightning. Ar means like. So Shiva's matted locks are described like lightning, like red matted locks, because the matted locks are there like threads of lightning, and they are shiny, and they are, when he's dancing and all that, they are swaying. So that matted locks, the shine and that is compared to the lightning's brightness. So mİniyanē señjaḍaimēl, with the red matted locks like lightning on them, on that matted locks. miḻir koṇḍrai aṇindavane. Koṇḍrai is the name of the flower. This we have seen in many songs. This probably in English, common English, they call it golden shower tree or something. That it's a tree with bright yellow flowers that will be in strings, bunches. So that koṇḍrai flower, miḻir means beautiful, bright koṇḍrai flower, because the koṇḍrai flower is yellow in color and bright. So bright koṇḍrai flower, aṇindavane. Oh, you are wearing. So the second phrase in the song is pulit-tōlai araikku asaittu mİniyanē señjaḍaimēl miḻir koṇḍrai aṇindavane. Oh Lord, wearing beautiful koṇḍrai flower on your lightning like red matted locks and tying a tiger skin around your waist. The third line, mannē, mā-maṇiyē. Man means king. Commonly we refer to, in Tamil is a mannan. That an suffix is used, but man is a root word. Man means king or lord. Mannē, O Lord, O King. mā-maṇiyē. Mani is gem. All kinds of gems, right? Whether it is coral, whether it is a diamond, whether it is emerald, all the gems are called mani in Tamil. Ratnam in Sanskritam. So mā-maṇiyē, O great gem. Maḷabāḍiyuļ mānikkame. Maḷabāḍi is the name of the sthalam. Maḷabāḍiyuļ, in Maḷabāḍi. Mānikkame. Manikam is one of the gems, the red color gems. I think it's called the ruby, right? So is addressing Shiva of Tirumaḻabāḍi as Maḷabāḍiyuļ mānikkame. Oh, red Lord, right? He is red in color, so he is describing as Manikam because of the color, but also because of the, when we say somebody is, somebody is very precious, who is somebody who is very, very noble, we call them as, he is a gem of a person, right? Like that he is referring to as, O Manikam in Tirumaḻabāḍi. And then in the fourth line, he says, Annē. Annē is, O mother. Shiva is the mother, Shiva is the father. So in this song, he is referring to him as, O mother. Annē, unnai allāl, except you. Who else but you? Right? Unnai allāl, except you. Ini, from now on, now. Ārai ninaikkene. Ārai is who. Ninaikene is will I think of. So Anne, oh mother, unnayallal ini yare ninaikene. Who else will I think of except you? You know, in English the sentence order is different. In Tamil or Telugu the sentence order will flows very similarly. Unnayallal except you. Ini yare ninaikene. Who will I think of? Right? So who else will I think of except you? So in the whole song is emphasizing, describing Shiva's attributes, you know, praising Shiva, mentioning various attributes, and says, except you, who will I think of? That means I'm always thinking of you. So, Pavani, you can read the whole verse again.
Okay, sir. ponnār mēniyanē pulit-tōlai araikku asaittu mİnār señjaḍaimēl miḷir koṇḍrai அணிந்தவனே மிளிர் கொன்றை அணிந்தவனே மன்னே மாமணியே மலபாடியுள் மாணிக்கமே அன்னே உன்னையல்லால் இனி யாரை நினைக்கேனே.
இனி யாரை நினைக்கேனே.
இனி யாரை நினைக்கேனே.
Good. Any comments, thoughts, questions? You can talk on this song, or we can go to the next song. Okay. If not, then Atmarama, you can repeat the second verse with me.
Okay.
கீழார் கோவணமும்
கீழார் கோவணமும் திருநீறு மெய்பூசி
உன்றன் தாளே
வந்து அடைந்தேன்
தலைவா என்னை ஏன்றுகொள் நீ வாளார் கண்ணி பங்கா மழபாடியுள் மாணிக்கமே கேளா நின்னையல்லால் இனி யாரை நினைக்கேனே. Good. So as we saw in the first song, the pattern is the same. So in the first 2.5 lines is describing Shiva's various attributes, and in the third line at the end he says, "O Manikam, O ruby in tirumaḻabāḍi, who else will I think of you? Will think of except you?" In the fourth line. So in the first line, the first phrase is கீழார் கோவணமும் திருநீறு மெய்பூசி. So திருநீறு is holy ash. Niru is ash. Tiru is the prefix, holy prefix, revered or holy, right? Tiruneeru is holy ash. Mei-pūsi. Mei is also another word for body. So as I was saying in the earlier song, we came across the word meni. That is also refers to the body. Mei is also a word which means body. So tiruneeru mei-pūsi. Pūsu is to apply, to wear, to smear on the body. Pūsudal is to smear. So Pūsi is, here it refers to the person who has got holy ash on his body. Mei-pūsi. So tiruneeru mei-pūsi. O Lord, who's wearing holy ash on the body. That is the meaning of the phrase. Tiruneeru mei-pūsi. And கீழார் கோவணமும். Kovanam is the loin cloth, and keel is like a piece of cloth that is tied around the waist. So the loin cloth, you know, if you know how they wear it in those days, there will be a cloth that covers the private parts, and then there is a string or a piece of thick cloth that that goes around the waist. So that cloth that goes around the waist, that is called the keıl, and the cloth that goes around the bottom is kovanam. So together is saying you are wearing kovanam with keıl. Keelar kovanamum. There is a word that is to be inferred here, that Shiva is wearing the kovanam. So the word for wearing is not explicitly stated in this line, so we have to infer it. So keelar kovanamum tattru. Tattru is to wear, so that we have to infer. So you are wearing a loin cloth with keel around it, and thirunīru meipūsi, and you are wearing thirunīru on your body. So that is describing Shiva. O Shiva wearing loin cloth and holy ash. Undran thāle vandu-aḍaindēn. Undran is your. Thāl means feet, padam. Vandu-aḍaindēn. Adaidal is to reach or to surrender. Vandu is to reach, right? So what he is saying is, Undran thāle vandu-aḍaindēn. I have come and surrendered at your holy feet. Thāle, that there in Tamil there is wherever the a sound comes at the end of a word, usually that is for one of several things. Sometimes it is for a question, sometimes it is for emphasis. So here that thāle vandu-aḍaindēn is emphasis. I have come and surrendered at your holy feet, and that's the only thing I surrender to. I don't go to anybody else. I found that your holy feet is the only refuge for me. Talaiva, Talaivan is master or a lord. O Lord, O Master, O King. Yenai yendrugoḻ ni. Please accept me as your devotee. Yenai is me. Ni is you. Yendrugoḻ is to accept. So, O Lord, please accept me as your devotee. Because sometimes, that means he has accepted our devotion. He has taken us as his devotee. Typically this is what you can see, right? When somebody wants to go learn from a guru, they go and surrender, do namaskaram to the teacher and says, please take me as your disciple. And the master may immediately take that person, or the master may evaluate, right, whether this person is at the level when worthy of to be taken as his disciple. So they may, they sometimes, if they feel that the person who is coming is not suitable, then they say, no, you go to somebody else. So the guru has to accept the disciple. Like that, here he is saying, "Oh Swami, accept me as your devotee. Yenai yendrugoḻ ni, accept me." Then valar kanni panga. Val, commonly used for the sword, right? People use the word val for sword, the weapon that they use for fighting. But it also has another meaning, which means bright. So valar kanni, kan is eye. So val like kan means, that's one way of saying, she has a eye that is sharp like a sword. That's one way of interpreting, but that is not the best interpretation. Ar means, there's another, ar is a word that has many meanings. There are 4 or 5 meanings. So one of the meanings is having, is another meaning. So valar kanni is one who has eyes that are bright. So one who is bright-eyed is, he is describing Uma, Parvati. So valar kanni, a woman with bright eyes, that is Parvati. Panga, panga is portion. So Shiva is half male, half female. He is one half, and on the left he has got Uma, Ardhanarishwara. So he is describing O Shiva, who is got bright-eyed Uma as one portion. That's the meaning of the phrase Valar Kannipanga. Or to summarize it, Ardhanarishwara. Maľabāḍiyul mānikkame. O ruby, O gem in Maļabāḍi. Kela ninnayallal ini ārai ninaikkēne. So, in the first song, it comes as unnayallal ini ārai ninaikkēne. In the second song, it comes as ninnayallal ini ārai ninaikkēne. It so happens, in this padigam, all the other verses in the last line use the word ninnayallal. But the first verse uses the word unnayallal. Both mean the same. Ninnai, unnai, it is the same meaning. You know, in Tamil, ni is you, and in common modern Tamil, unnai is you, right, in the second case. But in literary Tamil, it can also come as ninnai. So, both mean the same thing, unnai or ninnai. I don't know why Sundarar switched from unnai to ninnai in the other songs, but that's how he sang. So, Kela, ninnayallal. Kela means Kelaga. Kel means relation. So, Kelaga means as a relation. Who else will I think except you? That is one way of interpreting. But then, in Tamil, I was looking at the dictionary and there is a word called Kelan. Kelan means friend. So, the Kela can also be interpreted, in my thinking, as O friend. Kela, who else will I think of except you? And I think that fits here because Shiva gave himself as friend to Sundarar. That is a very unique relationship. See, if you look at the relationship that each of the four acharyas had with Shiva, Tirujñāna Sambandar, his relationship to Shiva is, he is the son, Shiva is the father. Tirunavukarasar, his relationship with Shiva is, Shiva is the master and he is the servant or a slave or servant, okay? Sundarar's case, Shiva gives himself as friend to Sundarar. Even though he initially comes and claims that he is his slave, after he made him his slave, then he also tells Sundarar, I give myself as a friend to you. So, Sundarar's relationship with Shiva is like a friend. And you will see that in many episodes of his life. So, he can also address him as friend, oh friend. So, I think that also fits here, and in my thinking, that is probably a more suitable interpretation and aligns with the rest of the songs, right? In all other songs, he is giving Anne, Amman, Anda, he is addressing Shiva in the fourth line. Like that, here also we can say that Kela is oh friend, addressing Shiva directly. That will fit, I think, in the pattern. Anyway, both are possible. You can choose whatever appeals to you. Kela ninnayallal ini ārai ninaikkēne. Oh friend, who else will I think of except you? Or who else will I think of except you as the friend? So that is the meaning of the second verse. So Atmarama, you can read the whole verse again.
Kelar kovanamum tiruneeru me poosi undran tāle vandu-aḍaindēn taleva enne endrugul ni Valar Kannipanga Maļabāḍiyul Manikkame Kela ninnai allal ini ārai ninaikkēne.
Yeah, that in the middle of the word when the it comes, you can put a little stress there. Ninaikkēne.
Ninaikkēne.
Yeah, good. Any thoughts or comments on the second verse? If not, we will go to the third verse. So, Chakravarti, you can read with me the third verse.
Sure.
Emman,
Emman,
emmanai,
emmanai,
en-tanakku,
en-tanakku,
eḷ-tanaic,
eḻ-tanaic,
சார்பு ஆகார்,
சார்பு ஆகார்,
im-māyap பிறவி,
im-māyap பிறவி,
பிறந்தே,
பிறந்தே,
இறந்து,
இறந்து,
eyttu-oḻindēn,
eyttu-oḻindēn,
maim-mām,
maim-mām,
பூம்பொழில் சூழ்,
பூம்பொழில் சூழ்,
மழபாடியுள் மாணிக்கமே,
மலபாடியுள் மாணிக்கமே,
அம்மான்,
அம்மான்,
நின்னையல்லால்,
நின்னை அல்லால்,
இனி யாரை நினைக்கேனே.
இனி யாரை நினைக்கேனே.
நினைக்கேனே.
நினைக்கேனே.
Good. Ninai is to think.
Okay.
Good. So now we look at the same pattern, right? The padigam is same pattern. So in the first 2 lines, he is describing himself. Like how he is attached to Shiva. And in the 4th line, he says, I won't think of anybody except you. So in the first 2 songs, he is describing Shiva's attributes. Now in the 3rd song, in the first 2 lines, he is describing his state. His state of devotion. So the first line, he says, Emman, em-ānai, en-tanakku, eḻ-tanaic சார்பு ஆகார். Emman. Man means Lord or Master or a Father. Okay. So Emman is our Father or my Father. Okay. And em-ānai. Em-ānai is my mother. So the first Emman is our father or my father. Em-ānai is my mother, our mother. En-tanakku. En-tanakku is to me. Nan is I, and when it comes as 4th case, it comes as enakku, but it also in poetry can come as en-tanakku. That's how he is singing here. En-tanakku means to me. So en-tanakku is to me. eḻ-tanaic. Eḻ is a small grain, right? Sesame. We call it sesame in English. So the sesame seed, we know that it is a very tiny seed. Rice grain, etc., they are bigger. But sesame seed is a very tiny. And we use that in our cooking. And we also use that in our daily life, right? Sesame oil we use frequently for cooking as well as for lighting lamps and all that. So sesame is a very common thing in our Indian life. So when something is very tiny or insignificant, they use that kind of analogy, like a sesame seed. Like a mountain, if you want to say something is very great, then you say it's as big as a mountain. And when you want to say something is very insignificant, very little, very small, you say as small as a sesame seed. So that kind of analogy is using eḻ-tanaic. Tanai is amount. So eḻ-tanaic is like an amount of a sesame seed. Sarva agar. Sarva means support. Agar means they are not. So in our worldly life, who are our greatest support or greatest protectors, right? For a child, father and mother are the greatest protectors, right? Whatever be the age, father and mother will always try to help the kid or the son or the daughter or as the case may be, right? But here Sundara is saying, the father, my father and my mother, Emman, Emmanai, our father and our mother, en-tanakku, to me, eḻ-tanaic charvagar, they are not, I don't consider them to be great protectors, because their level of protection is insignificant. Because they are human, but he has reached Shiva as his father and mother, and he is under the protection of Shiva. So compared to Shiva's love and protection, the human father and human mother, they are incomparable in their level of love and protection. So that's why he's saying, I don't consider my father and my mother, their love and protection as significant. So eḻ-tanaic means not even little bit. I don't consider them to be like that compared to you. And then he says, im-māyap piravi pirandē irandu eyttu-oḻindēn. Piravi is birth. In this birth, right? This birth is full of mājam. Mājam is something that is unstable, right? Which is fickle. Like something that is deceptive. You see something, you think it is true, but it is not what you think it is. That is mājam. Or you think it is there, but tomorrow it is not there. Like that, it is impermanent. It is fleeting. So he is saying that im-māyap piravi, this birth, which is fleeting. The piravi, even though we think it is a long life, and we think we are going to be here for 100 years or 80 years or whatever be the number of years, but time flies quickly, and what we think is true turns out to be not true. What we think is going to be there doesn't exist soon. So like that, it keeps changing, and also full of pain and suffering and all that, right? So im-māyap piravi. So in this kind of fleeting life, illusory life, this birth, pirandē, I have taken this birth, pirandē irandu eyttu-oḻindēn. Irandu means dying. Eyttu-oḻindēn means to suffer. So he's saying, I have, in this fleeting life, I have been born and I will die. That kind of thing. So he says, this life, this impermanent life, I have been born and dying. I am tired of this birth and death in this impermanent life. So I want permanent life, which is your grace and birthless state. That's what he's saying. So he's looking for that. I'm tired of this impermanent life by being born and being dying and taking birth and dying, taking birth and dying. This kind of cycle, endless cycle. I'm tired of this. And then in the third line he says, maim-mām pumbazhil maḍabādiyuļ mānikkame. Mai has several meanings. Means one of the meanings is clouds, or it can also mean green dark color. Ma is beautiful. Pumbazhil is groves and gardens. Pu is flowers. Pumbazhil is gardens with a lot of flowers. So maim-mām pumbazhil means mām pumbazhil means the great beautiful gardens. Mai is the dark color, or it can also mean clouds. So when you are describing the groves, you say that these are very flourishing gardens and groves, right? The groves are flourishing. So when the groves are flourishing, the leaves are dark green color, right? If there is not much water, then the leaves droop, fall off, they fade. There will be trees that are barren, or they look, they will not be that green. Whereas when there is a lot of water, they are flourishing, so there is a dark green color. So you can take it that way, or you can also say the groves are usually described as tall groves, and the clouds are supposed to be coming. They are good, tall enough that the clouds will touch them, which is the poetic way of describing that these are tall groves. So you can interpret it that way too. The mai can be interpreted as clouds, or it can be interpreted as green color. So maim-mām pumbazhil. So basically, nice, fertile, flourishing gardens and groves that are surrounding this place, this tirumaļabāḍi. So maim-mām பூம்பொழில் சூழ். Sūழ் is to surround. Maṇiyē மாணிக்கமே. Oh Manikam in Maṇiyē, that is surrounded by nice, beautiful groves and gardens. Amman, oh mother, oh father. Man is father. Like in the first line we said Yamman, right? Man is father. Yamman is our father. Amman is also father. But here Amman is usually referred to Shiva, the Lord. Oh Lord, oh father. The first song he says Anne, oh mother. In the third song he saying Amman, oh father. Ninnai ini yarai ninaikene. Who else will I think of except you? So that is the gist of the third song. So Chakravarti, you can read the whole verse again.
Sure. Emmanai, en-tanakku, eḻ-tanaic, charu agar, im-māyap piravi, tirande, irundu, eyttu-oḻindēn, maim-mām பூம்பொழில் சூழ் மலிபாடியுள் மாணிக்கமே அம்மான் நின்னை அல்லால் இனி ஆரை நினைக்கேனே.
Good. So, any of you have any comments, questions, or thoughts on this song? Okay. If not, we can probably go to the, I'm trying to think, maybe we can pause here and then, Rama, if you want to sing the first two songs, you can sing, and then, we can end at that. Or if you want, I can play the Uduvar song. What do you prefer?
I have no problem. It depends on the group.
Yeah. Live music is always better.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you can sing the songs. Sing the songs that you know, and then we will end at that thing. And then next week when we meet, we can continue with the remaining songs, and then we can listen to those at the time.
Okay, sure. ponnār mēniyanē, pulit-tōlai araikku ponnār mēniyanē, pulit-tōlai araikku மின்னார் செஞ்சடைமேல் மிளிர் கொன்றை அணிந்தவனே, மன்னே மா-maṇiyē, மழபாடியுள் மாணிக்கமே, அன்னே உன்னையல்லால் இனி யாரை நினைக்கேனே, கீழார் கோவனமும் திருநீருமை பூசி உந்தன், கீழார் கோவனமும் திருநீருமை பூசி உந்தன், தாளே வந்தடைந்தேன் தலைவா என்னை ஏற்றுக்கொள் நீ, வாழார் கன்னி பங்கா மழபாடியுள் மாணிக்கமே, கேளான் நின்னையல்லால் இனி யாரை நினைக்கேனே.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you. So with that, we will conclude today's discussion, and we will meet next week and continue the remaining songs. Tiruchitrambalam.